Joining us now, Dan Geltrude, managing partner at Geltrude and Company. Dan, good to have you here with us on the day. Major indexes slipping to begin the new year. What's your biggest takeaway from today's trading activity?
Well, I think the market is showing that it has a little bit of indigestion. And I think that's being driven by what's going to happen tomorrow in Georgia. I don't think that we could overstate enough the impact that that Senate race is going to have. And I think what surprises me a little bit is that the market wasn't anticipating the uncertainty around this election. I think initially it may have been perhaps a foregone conclusion that the Republicans would at least hold one of those seats. Now I think what we're seeing is there's some real uncertainty, and I don't think from the market's perspective that it is a positive if you're going to have the White House and both houses of Congress all in the same party. In this particular case, if we are going to have Democrats across the board, we are going to see higher taxes, and specifically related to corporate taxes and for capital gains. And those two areas have the possibility to significantly impact the market. Now, there are plenty other things that can go in a positive direction, but I think right now the market is having a realization to say, hey, wait a minute, taxes could be going up significantly, and we don't really like that too much.
You know, this is on the same day where we are seeing the UK locked down because of a new strain of COVID-19. And then additionally, this has been detected in the US as well. And you've got a holiday season where we did see travel. It peaked up to levels we haven't seen since pre-pandemic. And so with that in mind, how much of this are investors like yourselves, the markets, keeping an eye on, as we're clearly not out of the woods just in this surge, and that could impact ICU, hospitalizations, availability, ultimately, and something that has been unavailable in the broader capacity because of the hit that the pandemic has continued to bring, especially on the U.S.?
I think when you say we're not out of the woods yet, you're exactly spot on. If we look around right now, we are probably dead center of the woods. And I think what we had all been optimistic about was, hey, we got these vaccines. They're on the way. We believe that they're going to be effective, so it's full steam ahead. And what we're seeing now is now we have this new strain of the virus that's more contagious, and the supply chain of getting this vaccine out to people isn't exactly going quite as we had hoped, and not as smoothly or quickly as we had hoped. So what we're going to see now, post-holidays, I believe, is a real ramp-up in occurrences of the disease, or the virus, rather. And unfortunately, we're probably going to see more deaths. Now, that is not good news, because what's that going to do? Well, that is going to have a pullback on people, right? Because that emotion isn't going to be quite as positive. That is going to impact the market, because industries that we're hoping are going to start to make a comeback in travel and entertainment and so on, well, it's not going to be as quickly as we had hoped, and that's going to drag the market a little bit.
Yeah, not normal woods by any instance, more like Hunger Games woods with that cloud following us around. Anyway, Dan, getting back to some of the major movements that we have continued to watch, of course, some individual names that we've been keeping an eye on. Nora ran down a few of them. Perhaps we start things off, though, with Tesla, which was one of the biggest stories during 2020, starting things off on a good note with positive delivery news, just shy of their expectations. But are there many individual names that you see having a opportunity to continue compounding on top of their growth that they had seen in 2020?
Well, Tesla has been quite a story, Brad. I mean, who would have thought, going back to some of the darker days of what was going on with Elon Musk, and whether this company was actually going to be able to stand up with the amount of debt it was under at the time, and there was just so much uncertainty. But the big story right now is Bitcoin, right? Because we're seeing a tremendous run right now. And I think, and I've said for a while, that Bitcoin is here to stay, for example. But I'm not so sure that the trajectory is gonna stay on pace that we're seeing right now. I think there's a rush of emotion around that right now. It is a feel good. It's obviously related to, in my opinions, people's not being so comfortable anymore with the centralized banking system. And they say, you know what, there's got to be a better way because we simply don't trust government. But I don't think that that is going to ride the way it is. I think that it's going to be a bumpy road, although I do think something like Bitcoin is here to stay, and it is going to continue to go up overall.
We've been increasingly talking about there is no alternative, the TINA trade, if you will, towards the end of 2020. When you look across sectors, when you look across asset opportunities, Bitcoin, we even talk about that increasingly. And so where is the trade in minds of investors right now, and how much of the strategy is simply staying on the sidelines, if there is any of that strategy out there to be seen?
I'm not sure if it's about staying on the sidelines, and I'll tell you why. We can't anticipate that interest rates are going to remain where they are. I do not see interest rates going up. So what's going to happen is the longer that continues, that money on the sideline is going to come into the market. Now, where are they going to come in? Now, there's plenty of places to land, but what's an interesting play is going into technology. Now, that may be, well, they're overpriced, and maybe that's not the place to be. And what I would say is, I'm not so sure that the government isn't going to start breaking up some of these tech giants. And when that happens, I think the sum of those parts are going to be greater than the way those companies exist right now. So for me, I look at technology and I'm saying that's where the future is. And even the prospect of breaking up those companies could even be a better opportunity than what's out there right now.
All right, Dan Geltrude is the managing partner at Geltrude & Company. Thanks so much, Dan. As always, good to speak with you on the day, and Happy New Year to you as well.